Picture this. You're walking through a neighborhood in Amsterdam. Tiny front gardens packed with vegetables, herbs, colorful flowers. Every square meter serves a purpose. Now, picture suburban Chicago. Endless stretches of identical grass. No vegetables, no flowers, just grass. Grass that requires constant watering, mowing, fertilizing. The same scene repeats in Phoenix, where it's 115 degrees and homeowners are watering desert grass. How did Americans end up with the most high-maintenance, resource-intensive front yards on the planet? That's exactly what we're uncovering today. Let's start with a crucial fact. The American front lawn isn't natural. It's not practical. And for most of human history, it didn't exist. In medieval Europe, every inch of land around homes was used for food production. Kitchen gardens, herb plots, fruit trees. The idea of growing grass just to cut it down would have seemed completely insane. Even in early American settlements, front yards were functional spaces. Vegetable gardens, workshops, places where children played and neighbors gathered. The transformation began after World War II. Returning soldiers needed housing fast. Developers like William Levitt started building entire communities from scratch. These weren't just houses. They were a complete lifestyle package. And that package included something new: the mandatory front lawn. But here's the invisible machinery behind this decision. Local zoning laws, written in the 1940s and 50s, began requiring what planners called setbacks. Every house had to sit a specific distance from the street. 20 feet minimum in some places, 40 feet in others. Why setbacks? The official reason was aesthetics and fire safety. The real reason was social engineering. City planners wanted to create visual uniformity, a neighborhood where every house looked prosperous, where every family demonstrated they could afford to waste land on non-productive grass. The lawn became mandatory status signaling. If you couldn't maintain a perfect green carpet, you weren't trying hard enough to be middle class. But it gets worse. The lawn industry realized they had struck gold. Companies like Scott's Miracle Grow began massive marketing campaigns. The message was clear. A real American home required not just grass, but perfect grass. Chemical fertilizers, herbicides, sprinkler systems. What started as simple zoning requirements became a billion-dollar maintenance trap. Today, the average American homeowner spends over $2,000 annually just maintaining their front lawn. Multiply that across 80 million suburban homes, and we're talking about a $160 billion industry built on mandatory grass. Now let's talk about what this actually costs, beyond money. The average suburban front lawn requires about 30,000 gallons of water per year. In states like California and Arizona, homeowners are essentially growing Kentucky bluegrass in the desert. The environmental impact is staggering. Lawn maintenance accounts for nearly 40% of residential water usage in some regions. Then there's the time cost. Americans spend approximately 3 billion hours every year mowing lawns. That's equivalent to 1.5 million full-time jobs dedicated entirely to cutting grass that serves no functional purpose. The social cost might be even higher. These mandatory setbacks created something urban planners call engineered isolation. Houses pushed back from the street mean fewer casual interactions between neighbors. Children can't easily play together because they're separated by 40-foot grass moats. The front yard became a barrier instead of a gathering space. Studies link suburban lawn culture to increased social isolation and community disconnection. Meanwhile, the rest of the world took a different path. In Germany and the Netherlands, front yards average about 200 square feet. They're dense with edible plants, native flowers, and functional elements like bike storage or small seating areas. In Japan, even tiny urban homes maximize their front space with carefully designed gardens that change with the seasons. These aren't accidents of geography. They're conscious design choices that prioritize function over status signaling. Here's what's fascinating. When European cities rebuild after World War II, they specifically rejected the American suburban model. Urban planners in countries like Denmark looked at mandatory setbacks and large lawns as wasteful and antisocial. They designed neighborhoods where houses sat closer to streets, where front spaces served multiple purposes, where communities naturally formed around shared outdoor areas. But there's hope. Some American cities are finally questioning the mandatory lawn. Minneapolis recently changed its zoning laws to allow food gardens in front yards. Portland eliminated minimum setback requirements in certain neighborhoods. And across the country, the native plant movement is gaining momentum. Homeowners are replacing water-hungry grass with drought-resistant plants that actually support local ecosystems. The story of the American front lawn reveals how quickly cultural norms can become legal requirements. What started as post-war social engineering became a multi-billion-dollar industry that most homeowners never consciously chose to participate in. Your front lawn isn't just grass, it's bureaucratic inertia made visible. It's 70 years of zoning laws, marketing campaigns, and social pressure wrapped up in something we've been told is natural and necessary. Next time you see a massive American front yard, remember that someone, somewhere, wrote a law requiring that grass to exist, and someone else is profiting from your legal obligation to maintain it. That's a lot of hidden machinery underneath what looks like a simple patch of green. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you live in a neighborhood with mandatory lawns? Have you ever calculated what you actually spend maintaining grass you never use? Or are you watching from a country where front yards actually serve a purpose? Drop your experience in the comments. I read them all. If you found this exploration of hidden American design interesting, hit subscribe. There's a whole series here uncovering the invisible systems behind everyday American life. See you in the next one.